The Red Badge of Courage is a 1895 American war novel by Stephen Crane. I believe it used to be an American classic. I say war novel and not American Civil War novel because, although it takes place in the American Civil War, it doesn't seem to have much of an agenda. Although it's about a young Union infantryman, it might as well have been on the Confederate side of things. You wouldn't have told the difference because the moral of the story is courage. It's not really looking at war with any politics or opinion, and has a sort of a classic moral sense of traditional manhood that's largely been lost on Western audiences that might today prove somewhat divisive, offensive, or useless to a lot of weak-minded people that don't know what true manhood is, or aspects of strength in general is what I mean by manhood. That also applies to females, obviously. The liberation that gives, the psychological, the sense of growth of character. And so I found that somewhat moving, but I don't think that this is an essential read for American classic literature by any means. What I will say is that it was surprisingly fast-paced and entertaining for something that was written 130 years ago. And also, you totally believe, it's very immersive. Even considering, the slightly more, obviously, classy, old-school prose, I found myself reading it with a lot of adrenaline, a lot of action, and a lot of genuine fear. And there's also some very revolting imagery. So altogether, it's a very strong novel about a young, dumb infantryman who basically becomes a man. And there's not a whole lot more to be said about it. I thought it was very entertaining, very good. The writing is strong. A lot of people thought that Stephen Crane was in the American Civil War and was a veteran. He wasn't. He never saw combat at the time of writing this. And that just goes to show how amazing people's writing ability and imagination can be sometimes. Probably had other difficult, trying circumstances that woke him up to the harsher sides of reality that allowed him to write that way. But anyway, yes, The Red Badge of Courage is a somewhat sad war novel. And the last thing I want to say, the most sad thing about it, a sad, effective war novel, I should add, that's actually pretty entertaining. If you like adrenaline and war stories and that sort of thing, the most affecting thing for me, in a good way, was I got a sense for what Americans probably believed when they once projected value onto books like this. In the sense of courage used to be, especially in the most harshest example possible, warfare. Courage used to be an ideal and a standard that was understood universally, even if it was also universally understood that not everybody measures up to that. And that is another dimension of extreme realism that you don't really see coming in this novel. There's nothing corny about it. There's nothing glamorous about war. It just happens, and the violence in it is testament of that. And so, yeah, good adrenaline, good suspense, immersive, fun, good writing, relatable, memorable. I'd have to give The Red Badge of Courage an 8.5 out of 10. As far as American classics go, I don't think it's absolutely essential reading, but it was quite good. So, yeah.